So moving on a little bit, this might be a bit haphazard in the timing of these videos and how these clips go together, but we're waiting on glue drying for the wing tubes in the wings. We've made a start on what we can with the fuselage. Loosely put the tail wheel on into its plate. We've got the other wing tube, the secondary rear wing tube, just slaved in, but I'm leaving that loose just in case we have to tweak it for the position on the wing tubes on the wings themselves. I think before I showed you that the main wing tube was glued in. We started looking at fuel tanks as well. The 24 ounce was probably going to be enough, but as we've got a 32 we might put that in so that we can run for a week on one tank full of fuel. We've got to get a servo fitted in here for the tow release, which is on here. We need to get, the reason why we've been looking at the tanks is because we need to get a tank strap fitted and glued underneath before we actually put the undercarriage plate on, because when we put the undercarriage plate on, we're not going to be able to get in there to get the tank straps secured. So, not quite sure what the next step is just now, because I'm going to have to spend a bit of time pondering. I've already started making a list of things to order that we haven't got, because we are very much now aware that we've got a deadline, because my work has now changed and I'm not going to be here for as long as what I thought before we want this model to fly. So we're trying to get everything we've done as quickly and as efficiently as possible to make it happen. You may or may not have seen already that we've got the wing tubes just about done. Those keen-eyed viewers amongst you will notice that there's a bit of continuity errors going on here, but we're trying to film lots of things at the same time. The next thing we're going to tackle on the fuselage is the elevator servos. I'll show you close up in a second what I'm on about, but the two elevator servos are mounted inside the fuselage at the rear. Their push rods cross over inside to keep everything nice and neat, and come out to the two elevators. Now, in my head, to make sure that these push rods do not foul each other yet when they're crossing over, one servo needs to be a little bit higher than the others. I'm only talking like 1 or 2 mil higher, so nothing major, but we need to do that in the mounting of them. So I'll show you the inside just now and show you what we plan on doing. Okay, so this is a position for the two elevators servos. We've already got support pieces underneath there for the screws. What we're going to do, well, if you can see, they come out through these holes here. So it's going to basically, this one on this side is going to come across through that hole there and out through the side here. And the alignment of it is try and keep you square, something like that. I think they're both level. That's the thing. We can tweak these holes here a little bit to give a clearance on the hole when we come to actually fit the horns on everything on the elevators. But we want to allow for a crossover just now. So we're going to pack out one servo, I'm not sure which one yet. But the first job Ewan's going to do is make sure both these servos fit in the holes before we do anything, and go from there.
We did
So as hopefully you saw from that time lapse, the 2 elevator servos are in, neatly all fitted down here. This one is 3mm higher than this one, so it can clear as the push rods come out from that side across over the top of the ones that go from this side across to there. That's the plan anyway. So they're all now basically fully fitted. We're not going to make up the push rods until we've got the tailplane and the elevators in place, glued, hinged, etc. And then we can actually work out the clearance we might have to make on this exit. But again, it's nothing major. I'd rather have the servo a little bit high and trim this exit than have things rubbing and chafing inside. So yeah, that's the elevator servos done. Rudder servo, again, I'm not going to worry too much about that just now because that's going to be easy enough to do when it's covered. We can now make up the hatch for this area here and create bits and pieces to secure that. I'm not quite sure how we're going to do that yet. Yeah, it'd be easy enough. Yeah, but that's those 2 servos done. We're now going to move on to the tow release, which we're going to fit to this model. Okay, so we're still continuing on with Ewan's Farmyard build. As I said previously, I'm just filming stuff as we're doing it. I don't know what is starting a video, what's finishing a video. But in this bit right now, we're starting to look at the tow release. Ewan has been tasked seemingly with towing something with this aeroplane at some point in the future, so we need to look at fitting a tow point to it. The model is designed to have a tow release on top of the fuselage here, so that's where we're going to fit it. The plan is, again, I don't know how well you'll be able to see, down here there's already a mount for a servo. We're going to get a servo in there. This U-shaped piece of piano wire is going to be mounted through holes just behind the release pin hole there, and then they're going to extend down and be epoxied to the former that's below the top deck here. We'll then reinforce underneath with a block of hardwood or something to encapsulate these wires, as well as support the pin that's coming up from the servo. So what will happen is when it's engaged, the pin will be past the top of this horseshoe piece, and then when the servo is operated, the pin will pull down so it's flush or below flush with the top here, and the tow rope will just pull out, tow line, whatever you want to call it. So that's what we're going to see about doing just now. So, as you've hopefully seen from the time lapse, there might be bits and pieces we haven't quite captured, but we've now got the tow release servo in its, say, machine position, what it's meant to be. The push rod release mechanism for it is in place. This will be something that we can come back to and finalise once the model's finished, but we've got it set up basically. So the principle is, I'll bring you in and have a look. So the principle is we've just got a pin and a hoop. The hoop's secured to the airframe and the pin is operated by the servo. So at the minute, whatever we're towing is secured, and then when we operate the servo, as such, releases and then back to latched again. So in principle, that is going to be a simple release and it should work. It's structurally sound. We will be reinforcing this area anyway, just to make sure that it stays structurally sound. There's some more pieces to go on the front to make the whole cockpit area stronger. But yeah, that's the totally sorted.
Yeah.
So I suspect that will do for this video. If you're happy and enjoy watching this sort of content, give us a thumbs up. If you're not already, subscribe to the channel, it's all greatly appreciated. Any comments, any questions, stick them below. We always read them, and where we can and where we need to, we'll stick a reply. But from you and myself in the workshop just now, we'll catch you next time.
Bye.